Okay, hi everyone. We're going to make a small single seater couch for the cafe. So here it's called a love seat, could be a love seat, could be a sofa chair. Looks like the size of it's going to be. I just looked up standard sizes for this type of furniture because, off the top I'm not quite sure. And a single one looks like it's about 37 inches wide by, let's round that to 34 inches deep there. Okay. So of course these come in all shapes and sizes, but let's work on that one. And the front view and the top view are really all I need for inspiration to be able to break this down into its smaller, more fundamental shapes and put it back together. So let's see if I can do I'll start with the base, like this section first. I'll do the bottom, I'll do the legs, the armrests, the back, and the seat cushion. Okay. In a blank Fusion document, I'm going to make a new sketch on the ground plane. Using the center rectangle tool, this is going to be basically the top surface underneath the cushion. 34 inches deep, 37 wide. I'm going to extrude this by clicking on it and pressing E. And I want to give this some thickness. I'm going to work a little bit visually here because I'm not 100% certain what that thickness there is or should be, so I'm going to keep it visual. And I've got the perspective with ortho faces on, which means that if I'm looking at it at an angle, I can see it as your eyes would see it in perspective. So I'm happy with this size here. Okay, that's negative 100 millimeters if you like. Next, I'm going to do another extrusion for that lower section just so that I can easily get that color differentiation because I like that. So a new body, and I'll extrude underneath here just a little bit more, but I will make that a new body as well. So you can see that they are not connected in the body folder, part 1 and part 2. Okay, so far I've extruded this rectangle twice. Now I'll do the legs. The legs are typically angled cylinder pieces. So I'm going to need to do a sketch on the bottom of this surface. The bottom of this surface here. Not the top. Sketching on that bottom surface. I've clicked on it. I'm going to create new sketch. Now I need to position where these legs are going to go. First things first, I'll press P for project so that I can draw this into this sketch. Next, I will press C for circle because the legs will be a circle, and I'm going to position one in the corner. Pressing D for dimension, I'm going to state that its size, let's make this, that's pretty close, let's make it 60 millimeters. Next, let's use the D for dimension so that I can click on the center of the circle and the edge of the cushion or the sofa, and I can make that also 60, and I'll do the same for that one there, also 60. So that was D for dimension, clicking on the center of the circle and the line. So the circle's 60 and the distance from the sides are 60 as well. I'll do that, or I want this leg to be obviously here, here, and here. So a couple ways I can do that. One way is to imagine that I'm mirroring it across the axis in the center, and then I'm mirroring both of those downward. Okay, so let's do that. I need to create that mirror axis, so I'll open up the line tool, and I'll click in the center so I get the midpoint constraint there, and there. Now I have a line that I can reflect off of. I don't need this in my final design, so I'll click on it and press X, just so that it's a dashed line or a construction line. Now I'll press S so that I can find the mirror tool. Now I never remember which one is which. I think it's the one that is not filled in there. Yes. And this object will be mirrored across this line here. Okay, now I need new sketch lines so that I can do the same thing. So that was the line tool. Across, I'll switch it to construction by pressing X when I have it selected. And then I'll mirror these two. now I have 4 legs ready to extrude. And I'll click on all 4 of those. And I'll do it at the same time. It's always better to do the same action or less actions on the same parts. Now, how far should I do this? I would estimate 3 inches would be good. Okay, you can always modify that. It doesn't need to be exactly the same. Just while we're doing it, let's just experiment with a taper angle here because often these are tapered for aesthetics. So let's just give that a little inward, just a little inward bump, just like that. So that's a slight taper angle. Joining here is fine. This piece is now all one piece together. I mainly did that so that I could color it separately from the rest quite easily. Okay. I'll do all the rounding probably toward the end. Next thing I need to do is the armrests. The armrests I can do, if we think about the couch, they sit right on top of and become part of the bottom. So I think it'll make sense for me to do that from this view. So I'll make a sketch here, or make a new sketch, and I'll click on the front of the chair. And I'm going to make one armrest with the rectangle tool. Now here I need to think about the height of it, right? Like how high is this going to be? If I'm given a height in this document, let me check. Actually not given a height there, but it's kind of a cube. So I'm going to work about, let's try 2 feet there. That feels a little too much. Let's try 18 inches. There we go. I like 18. I think that'll work just fine. And then for the thickness, 12 inches is way too much. Let's try 6. Even 6 is a little much. Let's try 4. And I'm going to land on 5. There we go. Okay. Next, I need to be able to mirror it across the center. So I did a line across the axis in the center, and I'll switch into construction so that I can take this piece and go this way. Mirror. And the mirror line there. Okay. Now we're just going to extrude these, E for extrude, all the way to the back. Another way to do this is to click here and to bring it all the way to the back. This cannot be a join operation. This must be a new body operation, because I want to be able to round these separately. So, new body, make sure these are a new body. By now, I have that body, the 2 armrests, the base, and the middle base. The cushion is a fun piece. When I think about the shape here, the cushion actually comes up in front of the arm, in front of the armrest. So I'm just gonna edit this feature, and instead of starting right at the profile plane, I'll make an offset, and I'll give that cushion 4 inches of space. Oops. Editing that feature. Starting with an offset, and I'll do that -4. There we go. Just so that I can push it back a little bit, and I won't extrude it all the way. There we go. I just clicked on that surface to align it. Now I've got a bit of space to work with so that the cushion can sit there. Next, should I do the backrest or the seat? I should probably do the seat last and do the backrest next. Here, the backrest will be in the middle. So I'll make a sketch on this surface, which is the underside of the seat. And I'm going to put a backrest in between these pieces. That'll be with a rectangle tool. I can't evenly and neatly select these lines, so I need to project, P for project, that line, and that line, and this line, and OK. so that I can access them in the sketch. Rectangle tool. Now I can neatly snap to it, and I can snap to it here as well. So D for dimension, so that I can change this dimension to be consistent with my arm rest, which I landed at 4 inches. No, 5. There we go. E for extrude, and I'll extrude the backrest up, and I'll do it a little bit above. There we go. Okay, we've got a nice Minecraft chair so far. I'll make this a new body as well. Finally, the seat cushion. I will make a new sketch onto the seat. And P for project. Because I want to work around this U shape that I've created now. Like here to here to there to there to there. So I want to work around that. On the projection type, the selection filter, let's select the bodies. And let's project these bodies into it. Now I've got these purple lines that I can work with perfectly. Actually, I don't need many more lines. I'll project the body of this one as well. And there we go. I won't draw anything new. I've just projected everything I needed. I projected all of these lines so that this profile can be extruded. Clicking on it, I press E. And then I'll give my cushion a height. Let's see if 4 inches feels right. Let's see if 5 feels right. Yeah, make it cozy. 5. Can't join it. It's got to be a new body here so that I can round it separately. Okay, so we have the basic form and the basic shape, and you know, for the purpose of architectural drawings, they're not much more detailed than this because we're not planning to build, sell, manufacture this chair. We're trying to represent what it looks like in 3D space so that we can decide how many and if it feels right. But it's not quite right. It's too blocky. So let's use a sort of a shortcut method to deal with that. I'll turn off my sketches folder just to get them out of the way. And I'll click on first the cushion surface, and I'll press F. This is the shortcut for fillet. Let me show you what it does. We can take the surface, and we can round the surface here. Let's add. Oh, it doesn't like that. Okay, let's try that again. Should be able, there we go. Okay, not sure why that happened, but I'll start from scratch there. Clicking on the surface, I'll press F. Must be because I messed with the radius. And I'll change the fillet radius here. Okay, this just gives me the idea of a rounded corner. Now, let's select this face with a shift key down, that face, that face, that face. Let's select all of those faces and press F. And now let's give that a round altogether so that it's much more of a cushion that way, so that we can see it as an actual cushion piece there. You can decide on the final radius, you know, if it's going to be 8, if it's going to be, let's see, something a little bit closer, 30, 40. You know, there's not a golden rule there. Let's call that 40. There we go. So that it stands out. This is why this piece is separate from the rest. Separate in the real world too, but that gives us an option to work with it separately. So if I then start to become a little more specific about what it is I need to be rounded, the bottom surface does not have as much of a round, so let's press F on the bottom surface, and let's do a small amount, like let's do 12 there, because it's not normal to have a huge one. This is joined, so it added a round there, which I kind of like, because that could be normal as well. This edge, this one. Here we have to be kind of specific. There. Let's do there. Using shift to highlight these. Okay. So that's those edges here. And if I press F and start to add a round over, you can decide, yeah, okay, 12 is perfectly fine. Maybe I wanted to add another edge in this process, so I'll hit that plus button on the fillet. And really I wanted to add that one there. Now this one here I'm avoiding because I want it to stop here, so I will work on that one in a second. All right, let's give that 12. Okay. So the consequence of me making the armrest separate is that I need to deal with this part here, this part separately. And a couple of things I could do. I think I might just join it at this point. I think I'm going to combine it. So I pressed S, found the combine tool. I'm using the blue solid body one. And I will in the end combine the 3 armrests and the base with the join operation. Let's confirm that that worked just by hiding it. Yes, it worked. Okay. So now I'm happy with that. Now, to do the actual rounding part is, I think I'll do it, I'll be thinking about what faces need to be rounded the most. Let's say the front and tops. And I'll leave the back there. Let's try just pressing F on the fillet for that one. There we go, because these need to be quite rounded. There. Now, if we wanted this to be a little more relaxed, like have a curve here, then we needed to spend more time defining the armrest. But for the purposes of showing the architectural work, generally we don't need that. Now let's add a curve to these 3 surfaces here. It's about 12. We can make it the same, more or less. We can make it completely round. You can see that if we make it too round, then the round over becomes in conflict with each other and just doesn't work. There we go. So let's leave it at that. Okay, and that would be enough detail for putting this into an architectural model. So that's how to do the single seat sofa chair.